Marutaah.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rishi,
Kanva Ghaura.
Devata,
Marutaah.
Chandas,
Brihati. Shato Brihati.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 1.
When you come forth thus from far away, like imperious brilliance, by whose will, Maruts, by whose form, who do you go to? Who indeed, Shakers? A question without an answer. The queries posed in this verse stem from that basic question that consumes all mortals about the reason and purpose of existence, or simply put, why does existence exist? Though this question is asked here in the context of the Maruts, who are more intriguing than the other divinities, being ones that emerge from the activities of the other divinities and vanish when their task is accomplished. Because they vanish into nothingness and re-emerge from the beyond again when necessary, they are visualized to have no sentiments for or against the mortal world they act upon, and hence declared to have an imperious mind. This can of course be said of all divinities, their allegiance being to the script of existence authored by the Creator rather than their place of work. The image of Mavericks singles out the Maruts for special treatment.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 2.
May your weapons be dependable to drive away and strong to counter. May strength be remarkable, not strength of mortal illusion. The ecstasy of extolment. The mortal illusion mentioned in the verse can mean a self-centered perspective of the universe that impels mortals to indulge in the futile exercise of seeking favors from natural forces or immortals to advance their personal interests, but who, on the contrary, are created and mandated to work for an orderly progression of the universe. Individual likes and dislikes, desires and abhorrence, or the sense of right and wrong mean nothing to them. Instead, they are guided by the Dharma Karma Charter that sets up conditions for them to express themselves, their weapons or means of expression primed accordingly for swift, dependable, and effective execution of their mandate. This perhaps is an explicit declaration that praising, extolling, or invoking divinities is not for attaining personal objectives, but to articulate our wonderment at the immaculate and remarkable manner that the universe and its myriad processes are organized and made to function, and revel in this experience, being thankful to have been bestowed the ability to understand all this.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 3.
पराशयस्थिरम् हसनो वर्तयथा गुरु याधनवर्यः पृथिव्याम् व्यासाः पर्वतानाम्.
Indeed, you break away what is fixed, manly ones, roll on heavy, proceed widely towards forests of earth, over regions of mountains. Maruts and the cycles of existence. If the universe can be imagined to be a pyramid-like stack of systems, with systems in each layer operating within the confines of those in the layer above, the apex of the pyramid will represent the universal system as a whole. The cyclic functioning of systems in each stack can then be represented by progressive sinusoidal patterns with increasing frequency and decreasing amplitude as we go down the stacks from the apex, seen from a universal perspective. The crest of the sinusoidal curve will correspond to a vibrant system where there is constructive change, while the trough will correspond to near dormancy brought about by the destructive expressions of Maruts upon the system, all along the declining slope of the curve. Considering the system positioned in an appropriate stack representing the mundane plane, the action of Maruts will be as described in the verse. They will break away what is fixed, roll away what is heavy, march over forests, felling trees, and swoop down on mountains, causing landslides and flash floods. Life would almost come to a standstill at the trough of the curve, then stand up again and march on up the ascending slope of the curve towards vibrancy. This account of the deeds of the Maruts applies equally well to all levels and situations other than to do with the weather on the mundane plane, where the trees, forests, mountains, landslides, and flash floods will be figurative.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 4.
महिवः शत्रुर्विविदे अधिज्य विनभूम्याम् विदादतः कृष्णाकावस्तुतभीषीतना युजा रुद्रा सोनोति दाधृणे.
Your enemy was certainly not known above in heaven like on earth. Destroyers of enemies with harnessed continuance, formidables, let your strength be to overcome even time. Maruts vanquish even time. Creation and destruction are but two expressive parts of every process in duality. In singularity do they merge to become an indescribable notion. Not only are the two complementary in nature, each nurtures the seed of the other to germinate and grow to its full potential. When one of them has attained its maximum potential, it is time for the other to express itself and make the complementary part of this cyclicality to come into force. The Maruts can be imagined to be the fruits of the figurative tree of the destructive sub-process that the creative sub-process nurtures. This is the harnessed continuance that the verse talks about. As existence has been designed to operate so at all levels and within every functional system at these levels, driven by natural forces or immortals that never err, nothing can hinder or alter this cyclical expression. This makes them adversary-less and hence formidable. Upon dissolution of the universe, which can be deemed an expression of the Maruts at the highest level, it is said to merge into singularity. As time loses its meaning in this realm from the perspective of duality, the Maruts overcome even time.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 5.
रमेमयम् दिवर्मतान् विविञ्जन्ति वनस्पतीन् रोआरदमरुतो धर्मदा इव देवासस्तर्वयाभिषा.
They cause mountains to tremble, widely sever trees. You went forward, Maruts, like drunk divinities, with all tribe. The actions of Maruts in the realm of abstractness. This verse specifically considers the realm of abstractness as the frame of reference to describe the actions of the Maruts in the avatars appropriate for this enterprise. Trees are associated with thoughts in philosophy. A stimulus generates multiple queries, quite like a tree with many branches, where a node leading to multiple divergencies is akin to subordinate queries connected with different backgrounds, situations, and requirements. Similarly, a mountain represents mental strength to face and overcome adversities. Maruts of this realm, just like their mundane equivalents, can uproot convictions and shake, weaken, and even destroy resolve. Mental Maruts can completely wreck the mind of an individual, the psychology of a grouping, the ideology of an organization, or the ethos of a nation. The shattered state of this psyche will be very similar to a devastated landscape after a mighty storm. The perpetrators, the host of Maruts, may appear drunk when they are at it, but the wise would realize that there is always a reason and purpose to their doings, and it certainly is synchronized with the needs of the system as well as the macrocosm, and is in their larger interests.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 6.
उपोरथेषु कृष्णादीनयुद्धम् वृष्टिर्वहति रोहीतः आभोजामाय पृथिवी चेदस्रोदवी भयम् तमानुषाः.
You harnessed speckled ones in chariots, red one indeed carried. Even earth heard your progress. Mortals feared. The timeless truth. The truth of a divinity or a natural force is its strict and precise code of expression. Considering the fact that all natural forces work according to the truth that they represent, the personified Maruts are visualized to harness heaven and earth, the speckled ones, because both display varying hues due to the absorption of certain wavelengths of the incident sunlight by different material objects present in them, which are their areas of operation, and Agni, the red one, who drives all activities, to their chariots, where these said vehicles represent the resolve of the Maruts to run their mandated riots. Those present in the identified arena of action hear their ominous advance from afar. Mortals who have not been fortunate enough to be bestowed with wisdom are fearful at this, while those who have been blessed so are excited and look forward to yet another expression of truth. Used to, as we of the current era are, to a different style of explanation of the workings of natural laws, the Vedic approach of doing so may seem too long-winded and unnecessary, though the essence of the notion narrated is the same in both forms. Perhaps people of that era found it better suited for their valid ideology that everything in existence is divine and must not be exploited in any manner beyond the legitimate need to survive, which represents one of the truths that has perhaps been cherished across time.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 7.
आवो मक्षूदनायकम् रुद्रावो वृणीमहे दन्तानूनम् नोपसायसा पुरेत्थागन्वाय विद्युषे.
Indeed, we choose rapidly protection for offspring, formidables. So do come now to us thus from earlier times with necessities to alarmed intelligent. The necessities of blissful living. The ideology of the Vedic era mentioned in the previous verse is expressed a bit more explicitly here. The invoker seeks only bestowal of necessities from the immortals, and not to himself alone, but to all mortals, within the purview of the Dharma-Karma charter. Since the notion of survival beyond the material self includes the propagation of truth that one holds dear, which is of one's own creation, whether it be real or abstract, the survival of one's offspring, in the sense of any manner of creation, is also included within the scope of necessities. By mentioning bestowals by the divinities during earlier times, the invoker seems to clearly indicate his awareness that they grant only what is due and what is proper according to the scheme of existence, and not what is sought from a personal perspective. The mortal tendency to be alarmed at the prospect of facing a formidable might is soothed by intelligence and wisdom that the invoker has been blessed with. This, in other words, is to indirectly state that acceptance and self-abnegation are the necessities for blissful living.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 8.
युष्मेणीरो मरुतो मर्त्येषितायो नो अभ्वयीषते विदञ्जूयो च सपसाव्यो च सावियुष्माकाभिरूतिभिः
Instigated by you, Maruts, indeed instigated by mortals, this monster widely hurts us. Do censure him with power, largely with vigor, widely with your assistances. The marauding monster that molests mortals. Immortals or natural laws may act in spontaneity to accomplish a task, given a set of conducive conditions, but setting up of those conditions requires aeons of other collaborative activities to have happened, perhaps traceable to the beginning of creation itself, in a universe where processes are entirely interdependent. This makes attainment of any goal, accomplishment of any objective, achievement of any ambition extremely valuable. Even the mere act of living the moment can be considered so, which makes it worthy of being rejoiced and celebrated. As long as an overwhelming section of mortals are knowledgeable and understand this, there is vibrancy in society. But excessive vibrancy can also cause impudence and impertinence that promotes decadence and all of its accompanying ills to pervade society, leading to intemperance and depravity. This is perhaps the monster that the verse alludes to. Its advent creates ideal conditions for the emergence of the Maruts and their vigorous intervention to put existence back on the rails to proceed vibrantly along until the next inevitable appearance of the monster. Since the expression of vibrancy and decadence are made through mortals, one can say that they have instigated them. The same can be said of the Maruts as well, because they restore existence back on the rails that leads to decadence yet again.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 9.
असामिरप्रायज्यवक्तन्वम् तदप्राजेतसः असामिभिर्मरुदानाभूतिभिर्दन्ताः वृष्टिम् न विद्युताः.
Worshipful wise ones, for you have given all to the intelligent with complete assistances. Maruts, do come to us like lightnings to rain. The ignorant and the iniquitous too have a role to play in existence. Since the Maruts are the divinities in focus in this Suktam, they are specifically acknowledged for having bestowed their assistances to mortals to safely traverse through the journey of life, though confronted cyclically by advantages and adversities. The acknowledgement is valid for all divinities, even those that preside over unpleasant happenings, for they too are as valuable as the pleasant ones are, revealing to us, as they do, the knowledge of the workings of the universe, of cause and effect, of cyclicality, and as a consequence, wisdom. The mention of lightning and rain is in the context of the notions of cause and effect and cyclicality, considering the particular expression of the Maruts as a thunderstorm. Immortals not only preside over advantages and adversities that confront mortals, they bestow intelligence and wisdom too, with which to understand the universe. The ignorant, then, logically cannot be blamed for what they are, fulfilling as they do equally important roles in the cyclical manner that existence progresses.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
39.
Rik 10.
अस्तां यो यो विवृथा सुधा नवोधा विधूतयस्तवाः विषित्पिषे मरुतः परिमन्यबलिषण्डसृजधद्विषम्.
You bring complete power, good donors, complete strength, shakers. Do release for wrathful hater of rishis, hostile like arrow, Maruts. The alternating ascendancy of antagonistic aspects. If the notion that everything that the mortals have are bestowals of the forces of nature, the question that would arise in many minds will be whether mortals have anything to do on their own at all, particularly so when a mortal considers itself as a distinct and independent entity and not a wee little vulnerable component of the vast mechanism of this universe. The reason that seers talk of gods, immortals, and the manifest supreme is to emphasize that mortals, including themselves, are not designed for controlling forces of nature. It is reasonable to assume that when a thing that is made for a specific purpose is used for some other, the mismatch can only result in disorder. The universe, on the other hand, is designed for an orderly progression, albeit in cycles of reasonable order and manageable disorder that are caused by the alternating ascendancy of the rishi standpoint and the mortal's being independent viewpoint, both being the handiwork of the forces of nature. Each group thinks and acts so, as they have been designed to be so. Maruts and the other divinities indeed bring complete power and complete strength to control proceedings and propel existence along in its undulating unidirectional flow. If you found this video informative and relevant, please like and share it. If you would like to see more such videos in this ongoing series, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for viewing.